Welcome back to part 3 of our Boracay series. In this episode, we take a deep dive into what makes Boracay the place it is today. Behind the idyllic backdrop of golden sunsets, crystal clear waters, and tropical landscape, we explore beneath the surface as we delve into the history of this majestic island and how it came to be, its agricultural past, and early inhabitants, as we discover that it isn't always sunshine and rainbows in paradise. Boracay hides an enchanting past with its fair share of challenges, pushing the small island to the brink of environmental collapse.
I got a good feeling, a good feeling. I got a good, I got a good, I got a good feeling, a good feeling. I got a good, I got a good. Yeah, we're cool and we know it, babe. You and me, well, it's not our fault.
In the pre-colonial era, Boracay was inhabited by predominantly two main indigenous groups. They were the Panay Bukidnon and the Ati peoples. The groups lived off fishing and farming, enjoying a seafaring lifestyle not unlike their Malay and Polynesian counterparts. The name Boracay has its origins in multiple theories and accounts. A popular belief is that the Ati called the island Borak. Part of the local lingo, it is theorized that the meaning refers to the white cotton-like powdery sand which encompasses the entire island. Yes, please. No, first time. And here we have stumbled upon the local tofu dealer. The freshly prepared tofu is doused with a brown sugar syrup and topped with sago or tapioca balls. This delectable treat is found all over the Philippines. Cheap and delicious, it is great for getting a hit of daily protein in the morning. It is also extremely sweet and packed full of sugar. Or like a brown, kind of like a brown sugar. Enjoy the sweet treat, but make sure you dispose of your garbage thoughtfully. During the era of Spanish colonialization, in around the 16th century, the Iberian conquerors knew the island as Boracay. With a small population of approximately 100 people, the island was predominantly made up of farmers who cultivated rice and augmented their income by raising goats. Although the indigenous tribes of Boracay, such as the Ati, were consequently displaced by these very settlers who were cultivating rice and coconuts on the island. During this period, the island remained, for the most part, relatively isolated and undeveloped. At the turn of the 20th century, Boracay was previously part of the province of Capiz, under the jurisdiction of the town of Buruanga, until the municipality of Malay was established in 1949. It's different, yeah.
Dominoes.
The municipality, along with the island, became part of Aklan, which to this day remains an independent province since 1956. Two major players in history of worthy mention that shaped the history of Boracay's agricultural roots can be attributed to Mr. and Mrs. Tirol. Mr. Lamberto Hontiveros Tirol, a town judge on the Panay mainland, took ownership of substantial properties on the island, planting coconuts, fruit trees, and greenery. It wouldn't be long before every Martinez, Jose, and Caponpon would follow suit as cultivation and development of the island gradually spread. The production of copra, which is dried coconut, and fishing were the commodities that underscored the major industries of the island, and for a while the economy was thriving, circa first half of the 1900s. But a recession loomed, and around the corner, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows in paradise.
She is still half asleep. Good.
Soon after Boracay's newfound commercial success, both industries saw a decline in demand, with the price of copra plummeting and the effects of over-harvesting by fishers and the destructive effects of cyanide fishing on the coral reefs. Both industries were no longer sustainable. It was at this point in time that we received an email stating that our airline company had just cancelled Charis's flight due to operational requirements. Devastated, we were left uncertain of the future. Would we have to rebook and purchase a new ticket, or leave Charis to stay another night on the island to fend for herself? Conveniently being a Sunday, there was no one to call. With no service representative available, the airline company left us with no options, and it seemed inevitable that there was no way we would be boarding our originally scheduled return flight together. We were left scrambling for a solution as time was running out and we were on a tight schedule. It was around this time the locals turned towards tourism. It would appear as if every storm runs out of rain, and with brighter days on the horizon, a new chapter for Boracay was beginning. And even the government on the larger scale encouraged tourism as a new source of income and economic stimulation for the island. While this strategy proved beneficial for the economy, it further marginalized the Ati and other indigenous tribes on the island, pushing them to the fringes of their ancestral lands.
Let's go. Vamonos. Say hello, we got time, we can find our flow. Break the rules, I won't let you go solo. Say hello to your life, so come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Vamonos. Let's go. Vamonos. Let's go. Vamonos. Let's go. Vamonos. Let's go.
In the 1970s, prior to its global recognition as an award-winning travel destination, the island was a hidden gem for adventure goers, gaining prominence amongst backpackers and filmmakers, unraveling the pristine beauty previously undiscovered.
You want to get a coconut juice? Okay, could we get one, please?
And subsequently, in 1978, President Ferdinand Marcos proclaimed Boracay, among other islands, coves, and peninsulas, to be declared as tourist zones. And over the next 2 decades, in the 1980s and the 90s, the island's transformation into a prime holiday location would take place. Resorts, restaurants, and nightlife emerged as the norm, rapidly developing the island's economy. But far from smooth sailing, even paradise on Earth has its challenges. And just like Charissa's return flights suddenly being cancelled, it was not all happy days on the island. At the onset of the 21st century, Boracay's previously held title of greatest travel location was being jeopardized with the following environmental challenges. Number one being pollution. So all this unchecked tourism and development led to a great increase in pollution, particularly water contamination from untreated sewage flowing into the sea. Second to that was the overcrowding. So a small island with a limited and rather old infrastructure for the time, Boracay became overcrowded with tourists, reaching a whopping 2 million visitors annually by the mid-2010s. Of course, when there's over-tourism, it leads to overburdened facilities, which then will inevitably cause waste management issues and ultimately affect the tranquility of the island. I mean, who likes to imagine that they're drinking or swimming in pieces of shit?
Oh my god!
This sewage would then create algae blooms caused by the excess nutrients from the wastewater. As algae die and decompose, they deplete oxygen, which can suffocate marine life. Algae blooms also release toxins harmful to fish, marine animals, and humans. They can cause skin irritation, respiratory issues, and even poisoning if ingested. Besides disrupting marine ecosystems by blocking sunlight from reaching underwater plants and coral reefs, decomposing algae produce a rotten egg-like smell. So all of this degrading the overall quality of the water. Among the sanitary conditions that plagued the island, another issue was deforestation and habitat loss. Coastal areas and mangroves were cleared to build resorts and other facilities, and the loss of natural habitats affected biodiversity and disrupted the ecosystem. This leads on to erosion and beach degradation, with the overconstruction along the shoreline.
Somebody is stressing because Charissa's flight got cancelled.
Natural barriers like dunes and vegetation were destroyed, exposing the island to rising sea levels and storms. Lastly, unregulated development, with many shonky business operators not having proper permits, ignoring zoning regulations, and encroaching on protected areas. I mean, who knows? The whole system might have been corrupt at the time. But these were some of the challenges that were being faced. But not to fear. When your president is Rodrigo Duterte, brighter days just around the corner. In 2018, President Duterte initiated a rehabilitation effort with the intention of addressing the sewage problems and restoring the island back to its natural state of beauty. The then president expressed, and I paraphrase, that Boracay was a cesspool and has sadly become the representation of governance and government's neglect. I could not allow this decay to continue. Environmental protection and ensuring the health of our people cannot be overemphasized. Later that year, in an island-wide effort, 6 months was all it took to complete the task at hand. The island had an island-wide closure and cleanup, closed to tourists for 6 months starting in April 2018 to allow for major rehabilitation efforts. Teams removed garbage, demolished illegal structures, and repaired infrastructure. There was a sewage system overhaul, which improved the wastewater management. New systems were installed to ensure proper treatment before disposal. Businesses were required to connect to sewage treatment facilities. Previously, they were basically throwing all their sewage and garbage, well, God could only guess where. So strict zoning laws were implemented to prevent illegal construction. A 25 plus 5 meter no-build zone was established from the shoreline to preserve the beaches. Mangrove and ecosystem restoration. Replanting projects helped restore natural barriers and habitats. Efforts were made to conserve coral reefs and marine life. Tourist cap and sustainable tourism policies. So daily visitor numbers were limited to prevent overcrowding. Hotels and resorts had to comply with environmental regulations to operate. So finally, public awareness campaigns were initiated by local communities, and tourists were all educated on the importance of sustainability.
Look at me and say, I can wake up.
Yes, I can wake up early in the morning for o'clock.
Even the ones filled with tears, wouldn't trade them for the world. No, I walk with grace towards the pearl. So sing up to the stars, sing up to the moon. I'm still young, I don't wanna go soon. Smile when it rains, kiss the morning dew. I will go when I...
So in the end, we purchased new airfares and we were all safely on our way back to Manila, hassle-free and efficiently received. Thank you, Philippine Airlines. Boracay continues to stand as a testament of sustainable tourism, showcasing how natural beauty and modern amenities can coexist harmoniously. Following a transformative rehabilitation, the island has reclaimed its pristine waters, restored its iconic white beach, and revitalized its mangrove forests and marine habitats. With a sustainable tourism model in place, enforcing visitor limits, stricter regulations, and habitat conservation, Boracay continues to attract millions of visitors annually, while preserving its allure as one of the world's most beautiful islands. And that completes our 3-part series of Boracay. Thank you for tuning in, and we will be back with more travel and life adventures.
Cool, and we know it.